like to say it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Shit's gone sideways yet again because stupid people insist to allow the carnage to continue. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Rant Network. I'm Stuart Briscoe. That's David Solomon. This is a platform for forthright, uncensored dialogue as a podcast, hosted every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. This program explores a broad spectrum of issues, the current events, politics, discourse, cultural trends, the evolving fabric of modern life. Each episode, we deliver a conversation, honest opinion, and a willingness to challenge the conventional thought. We invite you to take a seat, engage us, experience your thoughtful debate, encourage reflection and perspective. This is the Rant Network. David, there is insanity ensuing yet again this past weekend. There's really, frankly, no words to describe the heinous hatred being perpetrated by the media, by the governments, by the left-wing lunatics. And I'm just mortified from what a pleasant, simple holiday, Hanukkah, and going to the beach and having a party to celebrate a dreidel. Yet these assholes arrive with long guns, shooting ducks in a barrel, with the Australian government being an ostrich, an invertebrate, with full knowledge that there is something suing in that neighborhood, and ignored the warnings provided by the Israeli government. David, what in the world is going on?
Well, Stuart, you very much lightly touched on something that is ridiculously heinous. Over 800 days ago, 1,200 people were murdered and assassinated and raped and killed, and you name it. We've gone through this on October 7th, 2023, the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. For the last 800 days, we've heard politicians, UN officials, politicians, entertainers, the left-wing media, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owen on the left, on the right, on the hard right, a bunch of crazies on the left, vilify Jews in Israel. No, it's not anti-Semitism. It's anti-Zionism. We're just against Israel, which is being wrapped in, wrapped up in the whole anti-Jewish thing. They keep denying it, but the reality is there. And we've seen politician after politician after politician cater to one side, Arabs and Muslims. For what? Votes. From Mark Carney in Canada, to Keir Starmer in the UK, to Macron in France, and to Albanese, the Prime Minister of Australia. That son of a bitch has not defended the Jewish community since he got elected. This piece of garbage of a prime minister stood quietly as thousands and thousands of pro-terrorist protesters went on the bridge by Sydney Harbor a while back to protest not only Israel, but to denounce the state of Australia. He stayed quiet because that's his base. That's what these left-leaning governments want. They are in bed with these terrorists, these extremists. And I'm not saying all Muslims are extremists. Calm down, everybody. Okay? Iranians are Muslims. I'm not saying they're all, but what the fuck happened yesterday? That a father and a son, a 15 and 24-year-old with long guns, with improvised explosive devices in their cars, opened fire on a peaceful gathering on the beach in Sydney to light Hanukkah candles, to celebrate a Jewish festival. But what happened? Australia has been growing like a pressure cooker in anti-Semitism. Off the rails. Synagogue burnt down. Schools shot at. Daycares protested and shot at. Excessively rising number of anti-Semitic acts. And here Israel is handing Albanese's government real intelligence that something disastrous is going to happen. And they ignored it. Not only did they ignore it, but Mr. Albanese didn't even want to say initially that they were Jews who were killed on the beach. They were people. Yes, I know Jews are people, but you are ignoring the fact that you've allowed terrorism to grow on your territory. Albanese last week was given a question mark about how he handled social media, that not allowing social media for young kids. That was a big thing. But protecting his citizens doesn't matter. And one by one, the little fuckers who call themselves politicians were all standing up going, we stand with Israel. We stand with Jews. We stand with Jews. This is heinous. Our words are not one action. There was hardly a politician that said, we need to take real action. The new mayor of Montreal went as far as saying that she told her chief of police that we need to secure the Jewish community of Montreal even further. They shouldn't feel threatened. But Olivia Chow, that bitch from Toronto, she stood quiet and she just said, oh, we stand with Jews. It shouldn't happen, blah, blah, blah. She's doing the same thing like Albanese, allowing this hateful marches, protests, vicious physical attacks to grow. And then what happened in Amsterdam, Stuart? A Jewish festival, a celebration. They were attacked also by Hamas supporters. In California, a home with Hanukkah decorations, 20 shots fired at that home. 20. Jews aren't safe, Stuart. Jews are not safe. Nowhere are they safe. Yes, I know in Florida it's better, and I know in Texas it's better, and other parts of the world it's better, but Jews aren't safe as long as politicians like Carney, Starmer, Macron, and Albanese continue to cater to these terrorist wings. There's no problem supporting a Muslim community. There's a problem with supporting fundamental Islamic terrorism. You are letting the people in that want to destroy your state, and they're starting with killing Jews. I mean, this is not right. Stuart, there are places now that are canceling their Christmas festivals. Nativity scenes are being attacked by these same people. Are you all sleeping at the switch? Have you any freaking clue what's going on here? This isn't normal. This isn't what we all, subscribe to. We didn't vote you in so you can let terrorists take over our countries. But one by one they are. And you're standing there waiting for this anarchy to grow so that you get more votes? How many more deaths do you need on your hands? A 10-year-old girl? A Holocaust survivor? 2 rabbis? What's next? How many more? How many more before you all wake up and realize that at your doorsteps, you've allowed these terrorists to walk in unvetted? Thank you.
David, I can't disagree with you, clearly. I've been talking about the correlation between events today and events of the 1930s. I have mentioned it ad nausea, sometimes deflected by you, and sometimes, maybe grossly inappropriate in the conversation, but it's something that I've been saying for years. It's a growing cancer that unless it's abruptly cut, it won't. You see, what the radicals have done, David, is if you try and say, oh, you're picking on us, and we sort of back off because we get worried. But when you talk about Jews, like, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's easy. And a lot of it comes within the Jewish community, with all due respect. The Jewish community is in itself victim of its own stupidity. Jews for Mondami. You know,
Stuart, but we
there's David
represent a
says,
tiny
I let
percentage.
you go.
Come
I let
on.
you go for a long
All
time.
right, all right, all
Okay,
right.
right. Jews for Mondami, Jews for Adolf Hitler. Believe it or not, there was a group Jews for Adolf Hitler's. And then at the Nuremberg, they voted against it and said they all must go and lose their rights anyways. There are people that are stupid and there are people that are ignorant. Okay. The stupid ones are the scary ones. The ignorant ones, they got an excuse. They're just friggin' ignorant. And the on the obstinate ones, the ones that believe that there's any hope with a radical Islamist terrorist is a moron, David. And I hate to say it, we've got lots that we know, David. There's lots within your community, lots within other communities around the country and around the world. And you know what, David? Unfortunately, until they grow up, and I hope it's not too late, this will continue to happen in every state, every country around the world. Sorry to say. Hate to burst the bubble. Hate to say the hardened facts. You're nodding your head.
No, because you're again, because like so Jews are responsible for this. Now,
You know what,
I'm gonna
David?
say this,
David,
Stuart,
David, David,
no,
David,
Stuart, in Brown
who
University,
voted these leaders in
no,
what
no, no, no,
groups
no, I'm
voted?
not listening to you.
What was
You know
the
what, Stuart?
spread
This
of
is it. This is
Mondami
level.
getting
Stuart, you know what?
elected?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because that's exactly what the Tucker Carlsons and the Candace Owens like to do. You see, you Jews are at fault. Jews represent a tiny percentage of any vote, and yet we're still blamed. Oh, you voted them in. Stuart, I'll give you another. Let me ask you this question. In Brown University,
Yeah.
tell me, why is it the media not telling everybody that the professor that his class was being shot at was a Jewish professor, and that the course was about, the intersection between economics and Jewish study? Why is the Rhode Island government not letting anybody talk about it? Why is this being thrown under the rug? This is what's happening. It's not about Jews responsible for this. This is outrageous to make a statement like that. What is ridiculous? Jews are not sitting there right now in government, not chiefs of police. They're not head of security at universities. They're not controlling the media. They're not controlling the politicians. We are now sheep being brought to slaughter because of these politicians. Yes, Jews voted for Mamdani. They're stupid. Yeah, I agree with you. But look at who did vote for Mamdani. Okay, it's the people who hate the Jews. And so right now we're sitting here, we're sitting here right now, like you said. What did you use? What was the term you used at the beginning? Right? We're sheeps to a slaughter, or whatever fish in a barrel. We're done for, because these people, these I don't know why I'm calling them people. They're gross and disgusting. They're inhumane. That they applaud when the UN Secretary General stands up and says, "Oh, these things should happen." Who do you think is doing this? Who do you think makes this happen? Every single one of those people who kept saying, "Oh, this shouldn't happen. This is bad." They're the ones who've created this problem.
Yep.
And they're now saying, "Oh, it shouldn't happen." Jews didn't vote for the UN Secretary General. Okay, I'm sorry to say. And it's like we're to blame Jews on this is ridiculous. That's a Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens remark.
David, again, I'm not trying to just pick on one aspect and one color and one lens in this issue that is, presented itself, very unfortunately, very sad, very tragic. It is the fact that the extremists have mastered the way, and so has the Muslim community, that anything said, "Oh, you're anti-Muslim," and go on a tirade, and the media just grabs on and goes, "Oh, poor Muslim people." Yet when it's a Jew, they turn the page and it's okay, and it's open.
It's worse. No, Stuart, it's actually worse than that. Trudeau did this in Canada. As soon as he saw anti-Semitism rise, he goes, "Well, we need to set up a group to look at anti-Semitism and Islamophobia." Exactly. And what did Albanese do yesterday? We need to look at anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. This is the pandering. This is exactly what these extremists want. They're taking advantage of woke politics. They're taking advantage of these woke governments who think that, we shouldn't offend anybody. But little by little, slowly but slowly, they're just eating at it. And these governments are continuing to see that, oh, whoa, if I don't cater to them, I lose votes. That's all that matters. Your safety, my safety, other people's safety doesn't seem to matter to them. We've seen that across the board. Now, I want to applaud the mayors. There were about 200 mayors who got together at a conference to talk about safety for the community, which included the Jewish community. And one mayor from Texas stood up and said that if one Jew doesn't feel safe, no one feels safe. That's the attitude. That's real leadership. That's what we should do. And I want to applaud this mayor. She did. I was so happy to hear someone with the right mindset of what leadership means, not cock and bull, handing of this attitude of, oh, we'll talk one way, but we'll act another. No, 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 no. Okay. To all these politicians and entertainers who you've all went after and sucked and given blowjobs to these Islamic terrorists, I hope you get what you deserve. Right now, there are dozens and dozens of families right now with either dead relatives or injured relatives or friends because of what you espoused on social media, what you pushed out as a false narrative, and the lies that you believed and helped share for these. Well, thank you so much, you useful idiots.
Well, on that note, again, can't disagree any bit with you, David, today, because I really don't. All right, guys, that concludes this episode of the Rant Network. Really appreciate you joining in and spending the time. Your participation and your continued support is the world to us. Your participation is what enables us to stay in this open environment for authentic, meaningful exchange. If you are the Prime Minister of Australia, you're a dumbass, and I hope your fingers hurt. And if you slam them in the door by accident, I hope they bleed. All right, join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. We hope you enjoyed this topic. And again, Wednesday, we'll hit another one. Right, David?